Hello students, welcome to our online video tutorial class. I think you have already seen the video which I have made on the chapter Principles of Inheritance. There, in that specific video, I have completed up to the multiple allele portion. So today we will be starting the next portion present in this chapter, and that is the gene linkage, or commonly which is known as linkage. What is the linkage actually? The linkage is actually the phenomena which is commonly found in between the genes present in a single chromosome. So that is the physical attachment in between the genes which are present in the same chromosome, and due to presence of that specific physical attachment, the genes are getting transmitted from one generation to the next generation in a together manner. And you can say also that during the meiosis phase of the sexual mode of reproduction, these specific genes are getting transmitted by keeping their proper arrangement, how they are present in the DNA. So that is commonly known as linkage. So linkage means actually this is a property, rather you can say which is commonly found in case of the genes present in the same chromosome, and due to presence of that property, the genes are physically attached with each other, and for that reason when they will be inherited from one generation to the next generation during the gamete formation, specifically by the meiosis cell division, then their proper arrangement, their proper organization will be maintained. So this is commonly known as linkage. Now the point is, in case of this linkage, we need to know whatever the characteristics are present in the linkage. Always keep it in your mind that linkage involves two or more genes which are located in the same chromosome, and they are present in a linear fashion. So obviously genes which are present in the same chromosome, for them only the linkage can be found. Different genes present in different chromosomes, obviously they are not showing the linkage because there should not be any physical attachment. Second, linkage reduces the variability, obviously, because if the genes present in a single chromosome in a linear fashion are linked with each other, so obviously when they will be transmitted from one generation to the next generation, obviously they will be transmitted by maintaining their normal organization. So for that reason, if they will be maintaining their normal arrangement or organization and getting transmitted to the next generation, obviously the variability cannot be found, or the variability should not be found, because there is no chance of crossing over in between the genes, and for that reason the arrangement of the genes are also not getting changed. So automatically no variations will be created or found in the next generation offspring due to linkage. Linkage may involve either dominant or recessive alleles, or some dominant and some recessive alleles. Okay, so during the time of linkage, maybe one dominant, one recessive allele, both are actually getting transmitted to the next generation, which is commonly known as coupling phase. Sometimes it is found that some dominant alleles and some recessive alleles at a time, they are actually getting transmitted to the next generation, which is commonly known as repulsion phase. So these are the types of dominant, single dominant and recessive allele, and multiple dominant and recessive alleles can get transmitted to the next generation. Next we are coming, linkage usually involves those genes which are located close to each other, obviously, because if the genes are located close to each other, obviously on that time only the linkage can be found, otherwise there is no existence of the linkage. Okay, the strength of the linkage depends on the distance between the linked genes. Obviously the genes which are present in the linkage, obviously those genes are known as linked genes. Now the strength of the linkage, that will be always depending on the distance present in between the linked gene. If the distance in between linked genes are less, obviously the strength of linkage will be more, and if the distance in between the linked genes are more, automatically the strength of the linkage will be gradually reduces. Linkage can be determined from test cross progeny data. Test cross progeny data means after doing the test cross, whatever the progenies we are getting, based on that specific data we can determine whether the linkage has occurred or not. Okay, so these are the basic characteristic features for the linkage. Now we will be discussing about the various types of the linkage. Mainly there are two types of linkages can be found: complete linkage and incomplete linkage. What is complete linkage? Complete linkage is a type of the linkage where the genes which are present in the same chromosome in a linear fashion, they are so close together, so for that reason they cannot be separated. They will never separated by the process of crossing over. So that specific type of arrangement of the genes are actually helping them to get passed from one generation to the next generation in a by maintaining proper arrangement how it was present. So that specific type of linkage is commonly known as complete linkage. But in which type of the linkage it is found that due to presence of little bit more distance in between the genes, the strength of the linkage is less, so automatically sometimes it is found that there is a chance of crossing over in between the genes, and for that reason whatever the normal arrangement of the genes are present or were present, that specific arrangement cannot be maintained during the transmission from one generation to the next generation. So on that time that linkage is known as incomplete linkage. So complete linkage means if the arrangement which is present in between the linked genes, the same arrangement will be maintained. No crossing over has taken place. So for that reason no change in the gene locus has occurred. So for that reason the same arrangement, same organization, by maintaining that, genes are passing from one generation to next. And in case of incomplete linkage, if the distance in between genes are getting increased, so automatically the strength of linkage is getting reduced. So for that case, or on that case, the crossing over can take place in between the genes, and automatically if the crossing over can take place or will take place, so the arrangement or organization of the genes will get changed, and if it will get changed, automatically the physical attachment, the linkage, that cannot be maintained by those specific genes. So that's why that is known as incomplete linkage. And complete linkage obviously doesn't bring any variation, but incomplete linkage obviously bring variations. Coming to the next point, that is crossing over. Crossing over is what? Actually, in case of any of the organism, sexually reproducing organisms, when they are performing sexual reproduction, before that they need to produce their own sex cell or gamete, and those sex cells or gametes can be produced by the process of meiosis cell division. So when the various sexually reproducing organisms performing meiosis cell division, on that time there is a specific phase called Pachytene phase in the meiosis 1. So in that specific phase, what is happening? The non-sister chromatids of the homologous chromosome, they are just overlapping each other, okay, and they are sharing their chromosomal arms with each other. So for that specific sharing, what is happening? So few genes present in one specific chromosomal arm or chromatid will be getting transferred to the another non-sister chromatid, and from that non-sister chromatid maybe the few genes are coming to the first one or first non-sister chromatid. So for this reason, what is happening? When the genes are getting exchanged in between the non-sister chromatid of the homologous chromosome, automatically the variations can come into the next generation when those specific gametes will fertilize each other. And this specific phenomenon of exchanging the genes in between the non-sister chromatid of homologous chromosome is known as crossing over. This can be also called as recombination. And keep it in your mind, in this process the enzyme which is working, that is known as recombinase enzyme. Okay, so recombinase enzyme is responsible for this recombination or crossing over. So let's see the characteristic features of the crossing over. It is occurring at two levels. At gross chromosomal level also crossing over can take place, as well at the DNA level also crossing over can take place. It occurs between two non-sister chromatid of the homologous chromosome, always in between two non-sister chromatid, because non-sister chromatids are looking similar, structurally similar, but there may be the allelic difference present. So for that reason always the exchange is happening in between non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes. Exchange is normally reciprocal but sometimes unequal. So keep it in your mind, the exchange of genes which are happening in between non-sister chromatids of the homologous chromosome, normally they are obviously reciprocal but sometimes unequal. Unequal why? Because suppose from one non-sister chromatid only two genes have got to the another non-sister chromatid, but and from another non-sister chromatid 3 to 4 genes has come to the first one. So obviously the exchange of the genes or the number of the genes during the time of exchange will not be equal. It can unequal. Frequency of the crossing over is closely related to the physical distance between the genes located on the chromosome. Obviously, the crossing over will be dependent on the linkage. If the both genes are present so much close proximity, obviously the chances or the frequency of the crossing over will be less. And if the distance in between genes are more, automatically the frequency of the crossing over will get enhanced. That means the frequency of the crossing over is inversely proportional with the linkage. Okay, crossing over is a crucial process that generates genetic differences within a population. Obviously, crossing over, if it is not there, obviously the variations cannot come. So for that reason, asexual mode of reproduction, there is no crossing over, there is no recombination, and for that reason there is no variation has come. But in case of sexual mode of reproduction, the gamete cells are produced, and during the gametes production the crossing over is taking place, and for that reason the variations have also come. So this is actually these are actually the characteristics of the crossing over whatever I have discussed. Now the very important point I'll be going to discuss, that is the sex determination in various animals. If you study various animals, they are having various kinds of sex determination methodologies. So let's see whatever the various kinds of sex determination methodologies are present or methods are present. First one, first type of the sex determination is XXXY type of sex determination. What is XXXY type of sex determination method? XXXY type of sex determination method is actually found in case of human as well as in case of Drosophila. Here the males are heterogamete, that means XY, and female XX, that means they are containing same chromosome, that's why they are actually called as homogametic. Now you are taking the female, that is AA plus XX, AA for autosome and XX for sex chromosome, female, and for the male obviously their chromosomal configuration will be AA plus XY. Now when the females are producing the gametes, obviously those gametes will be containing either A plus X or A plus Y chromosome, and in case of male obviously the either one specific few gametes will be containing A plus X and another one will be A plus Y. So in case of female, both of the gametes or all of the gametes will be containing A plus X only, and in case of male either A plus X or A plus Y. Now when these gametes will be fertilizing with each other, after that you can see in the progeny 50% of the progeny is actually getting produced female and 50% of the progeny is actually getting produced male. So females are AA plus XX chromosomal configuration containing and males are AA plus XY chromosomal configuration containing. So this is actually the sex determination procedure in case of human and Drosophila, because they are showing XX and XY chromosomal configuration in female and male respectively. If you come to the next type of the sex determination method, that is XXXO type of the sex determination method, and this kind of sex determination method commonly found in case of grasshopper and earthworm, because in case of those organisms or animals XX is the female individual, so for that reason females are homogametes and males are XO, that's why males are heterogamete. Now the point is, if you just cross this male and female, AA plus XO male and AA plus XX female, obviously male can be produced two kinds of gametes. Few gametes will be produced containing A plus X and few gametes will be containing A plus O, and in case of female all of the gametes of ovums they will be containing A plus X only. Now if the fertilization will be taking place in between these gametes, obviously 50% of the individual will be AA plus XX, that is female, and the remaining 50% will be male, that is AA plus XO. That means the male and female will be produced into 1:1 ratio. Okay, so this is the XXXO type of the sex determination method. Third type of the sex determination method is ZZZW type of the sex determination method, and this is commonly found in case of birds as well as in case of reptiles. Keep it in your mind, in case of them the males are homogametic and females are heterogametic, that means the males are ZZ chromosome containing and females are ZW chromosome containing. So let's see the cross. If you see the male, their chromosomal configuration is AA plus ZZ, and in case of female the chromosomal configuration is AA plus ZW. Now when the males are producing gametes, all of the gametes will be containing A and Z, A plus Z chromosomal configuration, and in case of female the chromosomal female gametes, the chromosomal configuration will be found either A plus Z or A plus W. Now when the gametes are fertilizing with each other, on that time again you can see 50% of the offsprings are containing AA plus ZZ, so obviously they will be the male, and remaining 50% will be AA plus ZW genetic configuration containing, so they will be female. So and the male and female ratio you can see here, that is the 50% is to 50%, that is 1:1. Okay, so this is the ZZZW type of the sex determination method. Now if you will come to the last type of the sex determination method, that is commonly known as haplodiploidy method of the sex determination, and it is commonly found in case of honeybee. Why? See, in case of honeybee, obviously we know in their caste system there is males are present which are known as drone, females are present which are known as queen and workers. So if you consider the female, that is queen, they are having diploid number of chromosomes within their body, and that is 2n is equals to 32. And males, that means the drones, they are only haploid, they are having 16 chromosomes in their each and every cell, n is equals to 16. So now when the queen will be producing the gametes, obviously those gametes will be produced by the meiosis cell division, and those all gametes will be containing 16 chromosomes within that, because the gametes are always containing haploid number of chromosomes. But in case of male, keep it in your mind, male is itself 16 chromosome containing because male is haploid. But from the male, when the gametes will be produced, obviously these gametes will be produced by the mitosis cell division. Here meiosis cell division is not taking place, mitosis cell division is taking place, and for that reason the gametes or the sperms which will be produced from the drones, they will be also containing 16 number of chromosomes, that is the haploid number of chromosomes. Now female gametes or ovum containing 16 number of chromosome, and male gametes also containing haploid or 16 number of chromosomes, they are getting fertilized with each other and forming 32 number of chromosome containing several individuals, and out of those individual offsprings 9% of the individuals will be giving birth of the worker female, only 1% or one individual only will be the future queen in that specific caste. Now the problem is during the time of fertilization, all the ovum produced by the female is not gets fertilized. Few of the ovum remain in unfertilized condition. Those specific ovum which remain in unfertilized condition, those will be producing directly the drone, okay, by the process of parthenogenesis, or you can say without the fertilization process, because those specific gametes which are haploid number of chromosome containing produced by the female, if there is no fertilization takes place, obviously those specific gametes will be directly producing the male individual offsprings, and those male individual offsprings will be getting adult and they are forming the drone in future. But keep it in your mind, their chromosome number remains 16 because there is no fertilization taken place, and that is commonly known as parthenogenesis. So if you study this total sex determination method, what you can see, the haploid as well as diploid, both kind of individuals you can see in this specific organism or in this specific individual. That's why this is commonly known as haplodiploid method of the sex determination that is found in honeybee. Coming to the next important point, because after the sex determination we are entering to the next part, that is a mutation. What is about the mutation? Mutation means a structural change in the genomic DNA which can be transmitted from one cell to its daughter cell or from one organism to its next daughter organisms. So that is commonly known as the mutation. So mutation is actually the sudden or abrupt structural change which is happening in the DNA or which is happening in the genetic makeup of for any of the organism. Sometimes it will be getting transmitted, sometimes it will not be getting transmitted also to the next generation. Now the types of the mutation based on the transmission, if the mutation has occurred in the germline cells, that means in the sperm and ovum, so obviously the mutation which has been created in the germline cells, they will be getting transmitted to the next generation positively. But when the mutation is taking place within the somatic cells, obviously on that time the variations which has come for the mutation or whatever the changes has occurred due to the mutation, those will not be getting transmitted to the next generation because somatic cells are not participating in the reproduction. So for that reason, those specific mutations which are happened in the somatic cell, those remain just restricted within the somatic cells, not getting transmitted to the next generation. But in case of germline mutation, or when the mutation has occurred in the germ cells, specifically in the gametes, there is a massive chance to get transmitted from one generation to the next generation. Now we will be discussing about the mutation present in DNA level as well as the mutations which are present in chromosomal level. What are the mutations? Let's see. First of all, if you see the mutations which can be found in the DNA level or gene level, obviously there are two types of mutations can be found. One is point mutation, another one is frame shift mutation. First one, what is point mutation? Point mutation is a type of mutation where you can see that a single nucleotide base, okay, is getting changed. A single nucleotide base throughout the entire length of the DNA or the gene is getting changed, and due to changing a single nucleotide base only, the structural configuration of that the protein which is getting produced from that specific gene, that will be get changed, and not only the structural configuration, with that the function of that specific protein also can get changed. So this kind of the mutation which is restricted in only one nucleotide base, that is commonly known as point mutation. Okay, as an example you can see the original, suppose a specific sequence which can be found, suppose an original DNA strand, the fat cat ate the wee rat. Okay, so now if the C is replaced by the H, automatically the sentence is coming, the fat hat ate the wee rat. That means In the previous sentence that was a meaningful sentence, but when the C has been replaced by the H, obviously that is getting meaningless. And so the same thing is happening in case of protein also. When the gene is actually containing proper nucleotide bases, they are responsible for producing the functional protein. And when the point mutation has occurred, obviously the structural configuration of the protein has changed, and for that reason it will affect the function of the protein also. Okay. If you consider the frame shift mutation, this frame shift mutation has occurred due to insertion or deletion of a single nucleotide base, or sometimes more bases also can happen. So single or more bases, when they will be inserted or deleted from the entire length of the gene or entire length of the DNA, then this specific type of mutation is known as frame shift mutation. Keep it in your mind. In case of frame shift mutation, what is happening? The length of the DNA strand is getting increased, and if the length of the DNA strand will be getting increased, automatically one or more amino acids will be getting attached to the protein structure, and for that reason maybe due to change of the protein structure, functionality of the protein can get changed, or sometimes the protein can be get non-functional also. So in case of frame shift mutation, just see the example. Original sequence of that specific DNA is that the fat cat ate the wee rat. So now what has happened, in the in between A and T, okay, in between A and T of the cat, there is one more A nucleotide base has entered, and for that reason, due to insertion, what has been changed? The remain the fat remain fat, but in case of cat it is getting ka, and in between in the place of 8 it will be getting tet, in the place of the it will be getting hue, in between in the place of we it is getting and in between in the place of rat it is getting at. That means the meaningful sentence is getting totally meaningless due to frame shift mutation. If one nucleotide base will be getting inserted, if one nucleotide base is getting deleted, or this kind of activity, if any one takes place, so obviously the protein structure will be getting changed, and with that the function of the protein also gets changed. So this is actually the frame shift mutation which is found in the gene level or the DNA level. Now if you will come to the mutations in the chromosomal level, so please see there are 4 types of the mutations can be found in the chromosomal level. First one is deletion. Deletion is a type of mutation where you can say that a small part of the chromosome is getting deleted or lost. Okay, so that is called as deletion mutation. Duplication, if a small part of the chromosome is getting duplicated for multiple times, and duplicated parts are all getting attached to the chromosome, and chromosomal length will be increasing continuously, then that kind of mutation is commonly known as duplication. Inversion means, suppose any specific sequence present in the chromosome that will be getting just detached from the chromosome. First of all, after getting detached, that specific chromosomal part is getting reversed, just rotated 180 degree angle, and then again attached to the same position from where it has been removed. So this specific phenomena where you can see the small part of the chromosome is getting detached from the chromosome structure, and after getting reversed, again the same portion is getting attached to the same locus or the point from where it has been removed. This is commonly known as inversion. And translocation means if a small part of the chromosome is getting translocated to another part or another arm of the same chromosome, or maybe to another chromosome also, that specific mutation type is commonly known as translocation type of chromosomal mutation. Okay, so these are the 4 types of the chromosomal mutation which can be commonly found in various chromosomes. Now the question is, these specific mutations, whatever we have discussed in case of DNA level or gene level as well as in the chromosomal level, now the question can come that which specific factors or who are responsible for this mutation. Obviously our answer will be some chemical, physical and biological factors are present. Those are commonly known as mutagens, and those mutagens are actually responsible for this specific structural and functional changes of the gene or genetic material. Not all mutations are caused by the mutagen, only induced mutations are caused by mutagen. Always keep it in your mind, if there any mutagen is involved in the mutation, on that time the mutation is called as induced mutation, because the mutagen has induced that specific mutation process. But if the mutations process is happening spontaneously in this open environment, because there are so many mutations are happening, we can't understand also due to the environmental factors. So those mutations are the spontaneous mutations which are naturally occurring mutation. So obviously on that case the mutagens are not involved. Okay. Mutagens which are actually causing cancer also, those are commonly known as carcinogens. So mutagens, that means causing mutation, obviously for that reason their name is mutagen, but those mutagens which are causing cancer, those are known as carcinogens. Okay. So the mutagens, which are the substances or the factors responsible for causing mutation, those are known as mutagens, and due to mutation whatever the new product will be getting produced, that is known as mutant product. And mutations are also two types. One is naturally occurring mutation, which is continuously happening, we can't understand, we can feel it also, and the induced mutation, which has been induced by the help of mutagens. Now the mutagen types we will be discussing. There are three kinds of mutagens are present: physical mutagen, chemical mutagen, and biological mutagen. What is physical mutagen? Physical mutagen is a type of the mutagen which are actually physical in nature. As an example, various kinds of radiation, UV ray, gamma ray, cosmic ray, these are all kinds of physical mutagens. Chemical mutagens are those specific substances which are chemical in nature. As an example, that various kinds of coal tar is actually considered as a chemical mutagen, as well as several other chemical compounds, 5-bromouracil, 2-aminopurine, these are all chemical mutagens. As well as if you go for the biological mutagen, obviously some of the viruses, that is Rawas sarcoma virus, human papilloma virus, these specific viruses are actually considered as the mutagens because they are causing mutation and they are also causing the cancer to various individuals. So these are the various kind of mutagens, their categories with their examples we have discussed in this specific slide. So up to this specific portion we have completed in this specific video. So we have discussed about the linkage, we have discussed about crossing over, and we have also discussed about the various kinds of sex determination methodologies, and then we have discussed about mutations, their types, and mutagens. So after this specific video, next video we'll be discussing about the last portion of the chapter, that is the pedigree analysis, as well as various kind of Mendelian disorders which are related with the chromosome as well as related with the gene. So I think this specific video, whatever I have prepared, I think you have understood properly, and whatever I have taught you, you have understood properly and you have enjoyed this video a lot. So thank you for watching this video. Thanks a lot.